Joining us on Loudwire Nights tonight is Josh Katz, frontman for Badflower, who will be releasing their debut album, Okay, I'm Sick, February 22nd. And man, oh man, what a great record. Honestly, congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
So good. When I hear it, I think modern, fearless, direct, dark, creative, and unique. But what I want to know, what kind of thoughts go through your head? Are you like critiquing it when you're hearing it? Are you just proud? What are you thinking?
Man, I'm thinking all those things that you said on a good day. I guess like every day is different because I listen to the record pretty much every day, multiple times a day, because I'm critiquing it and because I'm trying to listen objectively. I have a really weird relationship with anything that I write or create, where until it's released, it's mine and I love it. And then as soon as like it gets close to that release point and then eventually does get released, I really detach from it and I feel like it doesn't belong to me anymore, which is like a bittersweet thing.
It's like giving birth.
I think writing it and recording it is the part of giving birth, and then when it releases, that's when it turns 18 and goes to college and you never see it again.
Exactly. Okay, cool. A lot of these questions were inspired by the songs or based on the songs. On track 2 of Okay, I'm Sick, The Gesture, you sing, Lord, I live to entertain, all my pride is in my praise, right? Yet line 1 of the bio or press release, whatever you want to call it, they sent out, it's standard stuff. It reads, Badflower, don't care what you think of them. So like, which of those two kind of conflicting sentences is more the real Josh Katz?
Wow, both. I think... Here's the truth about that. I've changed a lot since I wrote that song. The Gesture is a song that I wrote, I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago, a long time ago, and it's only now making it to the record. And back then, I wrote that song about the music industry. It was about, being in certain situations where I felt like I was a somebody and then realizing that nobody was coming to my shows or buying my albums or doing, nobody was really helping out in any capacity. And now that we've had some success, I think the latter, the bio, is more how I feel. I don't really care. I'm going to do what I want no matter what.
I knew it was about the music industry. I freaking knew it. Okay. There's another track on there. Like you said, you have changed a lot. And I spoke with you pre-Ghost and just even interviewing you, completely different animal. But I'm curious about the song 24. There isn't a lot of positive self-esteem reflected on that track. Is that one of those kind of like what you said about Ghost, that those lyrics just don't make sense to you anymore?
Yeah, but you know what? I said that about Ghost, and then I also go back and forth on it a lot. They don't make as much sense to me anymore because I'm doing a lot better. But yeah, I feel like 24 is like a sequel or a prequel to Ghost. They're like the same. They're in the same family of. They're in the same world.
That headspace.
And they're kind of about the same thing.
Yeah. All right. So the song Promise Me is supposed to be the traditional love song on the record. And I thought so until we got to that line, like, don't make me face the truth that I'm dying soon, that we're dying. Do you feel like you look at everything through the filter of death? Like, do you feel like you're a little bit obsessed with death and where it stems from? I swear every song I'm like, oh my God.
No, I don't think I'm obsessed with it. But I truly fear it, and I can say that, I can admit that with some confidence that I fear death, and I fear getting older, and I value my youth in the way that I look and the way that I feel, and I'm afraid of growing up, and I'm afraid of dying, and so I think that comes up as a theme pretty frequently.
Yeah, yes, it does.
I don't know if I would say obsession. I don't know if I don't think I'm obsessed with it. Like I'm not like one of those gothic guys who's always like wearing the Hot Topic stuff and.
No, you don't look like it, but the lyrics kind of reflect a little bit of a preoccupation. Everything, it just all comes back to death or dying, in my opinion. Not every song, but a lot of the songs. Okay. This is a serious question. Do you worry that songs like Daddy, which is about sexual abuse, will trigger survivors, given how direct your songwriting style is?
No, I don't worry that it's going to trigger people. I hope that it's going to make them feel understood. That's the simple short answer of that. Okay. I think there's this thing happening in society where people are afraid to be triggered and they're afraid to talk about things and trigger warnings and this and that. And I don't really buy into it. I think that we need to not be afraid to confront the things that have happened to us or confront the things that are happening around us, and we need to be able to talk about them.
I'd agree, but I would just also add, though, that like you don't know necessarily when a song is going to come on the radio. You don't know when you're going to flip over to, and I know you don't care about radio play. This may or may not get radio play given the subject matter. I just think that you just could come across it without being mentally prepared.
Sure, and you know what, too? I did think that about Ghost when Ghost came out. I thought, I don't know if this is going to be right for the radio. I don't know if this is the right kind of thing that we should be putting in people's faces constantly. And then I was proven wrong. And I think it's with the fact that I was proven wrong with Ghost is why I feel so strongly about saying, no, I'm not really afraid of triggering people, because I've now had experience with this where I had a song that I thought could be triggering and people could take negatively, and people could point their fingers and say horrible things about me as the songwriter of this. I thought that would have happened, or that could have happened, and it didn't. People just said, thank you for saying what I can't say. And I think a song like Ghost would be even worse as a trigger. That could, Daddy is a song about sexual abuse, and if that triggers somebody's memory of that, that's horrible for them to have to feel like they're reliving it. With a song like Ghost, it could be a much worse outcome being triggered by that, and that wasn't the case. I think people are a lot stronger than we give them credit for, and people are I'll stop there. People are stronger than we give them credit for.
Yeah, they get where you're coming from. Initially, when we started playing Ghost, I would do a trick. I mean, maybe this is part of the problem, but I would say, hey, listen, this is a sensitive topic. I'd kind of get into it. Trigger warning. I don't know. Eventually, I did stop, and I never did hear one person call and complain or say anything to that effect. I just wonder,
Right.
So the track Die name drops Trump. Can't get more direct than impeach the asshole and all of his friends. It's impossible. Instead of asking the usual, does music and politics mix? I'll ask you this. Do you see anyone in politics right now that represents you and your generation that you think is the future?
Bernie Sanders.
Interesting.
Duh.
I don't know.
The obvious answer for the LA-born guy.
They were teasing on Twitter the other day. I don't know if you saw it. It was trending that he was going to announce that he was running in 2020, but I don't know.
Yep.
Didn't happen.
I saw that.
All right. Excellent.
I saw that.
So I was very uncomfortable, which equals powerful and like effective, while listening to Murder Games. Are you straight up trying to just like convert people to vegetarianism or veganism with a song like that? It's literally like a PETA movie set to music at some point there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm straight up trying.
You think you're going to have success? Do you think people who want to deny that that's the reality of it, you think you'll get through to them with the song?
I think that stubborn people are stubborn people, and they're going to be stubborn their whole lives, and that's what the song Die is about, those types of stubborn people, not necessarily about Trump, but just people who are afraid of progression for whatever reason. They're afraid of change, and they want to just dismiss that anything that they're doing in their lives might not be the right thing to do. And we've seen in history that we do all kinds of terrible things that end up, when there's a light shined on them, we're like, oh, yeah, you know what? It was really messed up that we were keeping black people as slaves. Like, that was a really messed up thing to do. Yet that was normal. A kid who grew up 200 years ago would have his slaves around, and that was a normal thing to have. It took a lot of time and a lot of convincing and a lot of like stubborn people who just literally had to grow old and die off for the next generation to come up and be like, no, we're not going to do this anymore. This has been wrong the entire time. This has never been okay. And that sort of thing has happened in every single generation, where we grow out of certain things that we do, certain traditions or whatever it is. And I believe that the way that we treat animals and the way that we eat animals, and we have no disregard for them as beings with feelings, is sort of that next thing that needs to happen. That's like the next progression in our evolution as people. I believe this with all of my heart, obviously, because I wrote a song like that, and it's the way that I live. And I think that writing a song like this is one very small way of me doing my part in that.
Do you think we'll see it in our lifetime?
Like an entire society going vegan, I would love to see that in our lifetime, but I don't know if it's going to happen that fast. It's like anything else, that it has to be like a 50-50 deal until the scale completely tips. And right now, I think we have 10 or less % of the population are vegetarian or vegan, or even conscious about what they're eating in that capacity. But it's growing actually quite fast.
I agree.
And we're seeing it happening.
No, I agree. Okay.
So I don't know.
We'll find out. Cry is the last song on the record. It's also the longest song on the record, clocking in at over 6 minutes. I mean, I don't even know if to use this word. Would you consider it a hopeful ending? I mean, it is about not feeling pain, although while crying like you sound like you're dying. What should I make of that song?
You know, I don't know with a song like that, and with this entire record, I could give you the specifics of what the song is about and why it was written. With Cry, it's a song that's about crying, and I just wanted to be as descriptive as possible, and using, which I don't actually normally like to do, using a lot of metaphors and a lot of ways of sort of dancing around saying what I want to say. With Cry, it was sort of like a mission for me to write an entire song about crying and about the feeling of crying without using the word cry. And that's what I did. I never once say it. I don't even think I say tears. I never use any of those words. I just described it in entirely different ways.
It's so different than who you are as a songwriter. Well, I guess not that different because you wrote it. But
yeah, it's a completely different type of song.
Yeah. I love it. I love that song. I love the entire record. It's so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so good. A big part of this band's appeal, and it's something you all did consciously, was write a very 2018 record, right? I'll use the example of your song Girlfriend, which is about social media stalking, which we all do, most of us do. Do you think you could have, is this like an oxymoron, could you have a current Timeless song?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I don't know if I can describe what that song would be about or what it would look like or what it would sound like, but I maybe we'll have one on this album. Like maybe one of them will end up being a timeless song. There's a lot of people are after writing these timeless songs, and I think it's a mistake to approach songwriting with that in mind, because I think you end up just being vague and being broad and not saying anything special or important and not saying anything that hasn't been said a million times already. And so we didn't have that in mind at all. In fact, we sprinted in the opposite direction with this record. We didn't want to write timeless music. We're like, we want to write something that matters right now.
Yeah.
And if it ends up being timeless, however possible that is or however that happens, great, awesome. If it doesn't, that's also great, because we did something that nobody else is doing.
Very unique. Badflower going out with Nothing More in February and March. Then it's Europe, and it's just announced going out with Shinedown in June. How are you? And I know you like kind of commented on it, but how are you going to perform songs like X Anna X Live?
We did it for the first time we just did this Shiprocked cruise. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of you.
Yeah, we played X Anna X Live for the very first time, and it was mental. In the best way and the worst way. I don't know how to describe it, but we did our best, and I think we're just going to continue to do our best with songs like that live, and hopefully people just embrace whatever it is that happens on stage.
Could be anything.
Yeah.
Literally. All right, we're going to end with just like a random question that has nothing to do with anything or music or nothing. Do you remember the last
Perfect.
Yeah. Do you remember the last thing though that kept you up at night?
Yeah. After looking at the tour schedule for 2019.
What am I missing? Anything else coming up 2019? Obviously, like I said, Okay, I'm Sick, debut album out February 22nd, a lot of touring. What did we not touch? What am I missing?
I think that's about it.
I think that's about it. All right. Well,
you nailed it.
All right. Sounds good. I look forward to, I can't wait for people's reaction on the record. I'm sure you can't wait more, but it's a special one. So good luck to you.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to read YouTube comments and social media comments. I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
It's going to be unavoidable. You're not going to be able to get away with it. You do the social for Badflower, right? It sounds like it's written by, So, I mean, it's going to come straight to you unless you do like a social media ban and like log off for, it's impossible.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, I think they're going to be great because the album is deserving of great reviews. So all the best, Josh, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Bye.